How you doing, YouTube? Master Beer Reviews, back with yet another review. A little bit of Berliner Weisse time in the form of Mikkeller, whatever you want to call it, baby. Both of them work. Don't argue about it. It is their Ich Bin. I am Berliner Weisse. With gooseberries, made with gooseberries. Listen, I haven't had this new series. They came out with a bunch of these. Then they did like an apricot one, maybe like a strawberry one, and a bunch of other ones. Never had them before. I went to a local, semi-local little bottle shop, can shop, and they had them all there. And I picked this one up. Why? Because I've never had a gooseberry. So I kind of got really intrigued. We actually have them on my farm here. I did not know that until I brought it home, and my beautiful wife, Liesel, she was like, we actually have gooseberries outside, so I want to drink this before I eat one. I kind of like that. Going into it totally like, no idea what I'm talking about. It's because it kind of gives you a little bit. It's cool to have the flavor of the fruit in there, so it's a little bit easier to kind of grasp onto. But I think it's kind of cool to go into it with nothing at all, too. So anyway, it says, like it says, hello, Ich Bin, which is I am Berliner Weisse. We have Berliner style Weiss beer brewed with gooseberries, product of Belgium. Ingredients, all that stuff. Shelton Brothers import. And this was packaged just about a month ago. Just a hair over. Label-wise, I actually really dig it. It's a bunch of gooseberries and a little name tag on it. What do you want me to say? So yeah, let's give it a whirl. See what she's got. She wanted to come out of here, man. Bursting at the seams. Probably pour a little bit too much in there. Snort a little bit of foam for you, because I'm really good for that every now and then. And then done and done. So look at that. What do we have going on here? Infinite creamy top to it. I mean, 2 fingers, a little gravity-defying creaminess going on there. You can even see it's kind of splashed, left a little lacing on it already. Super tight compact bubbles. I mean, microscopically tight bubbles. She's got a soft haze to her. I mean, from a distance, you could be like, oh, that's kind of like a hazy pale ale. But no, we're talking about a Berliner Weisse right now. So, does she look the part? Yeah, sure. But does she smell the part? Let's see what the nose has. Whew. You know what that reminds me of? This is no joke. Hers salt and vinegar chips. I smell salt and I smell vinegar. Mostly white distilled vinegar. That's pretty much what I'm getting on there. Wow, man, that reminds me so much of Hers salt and vinegar chips. Listen, if you've never had Hers salt and vinegar chips, I feel bad for you, because they are by far and away the most glorious potato chip in the history of mankind. Now, you know, I drink my fair share of carbs, so I don't eat bread, really. I don't eat chips and all that stuff, but man, that is one of my cheats. I will eat that shit. It's a salt and vinegar chip. It's tangy, it's rich, it's delicious. It's very hibbly-bibbly and very crackery, you know, all that good stuff, because hibbly-bibbly is taste. But it's so caustic, the Hers ones, because you get the ones that are from Lay's, or you get them from some other place. They kind of like, oh, a little bit of salt, a little bit of vinegar. That's okay. No, these are like literally chemically caustic. If you eat like too many, your mouth will get all fucked up and shit. They're that good. That's what this smells like. Wow, I cannot believe it. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get through this beer and give it an honest kind of thing. Now, I am getting a little rich fruitiness off of underneath that. It's kind of settling down, so I assume this beer had to blow off a little bit. Here, we'll help it. There you go. It should be all better now. So I'm assuming in the can there was just kind of like a kind of vinegary, maybe a little bit of sulfur stuff that just had to blow off the beer in order for it to be something that is kind of pleasant for most people, even though I kind of really dig that salt and vinegar thing. To where I'm still getting those soft, white distilled vinegar vibes, but I'm starting to get a little rich, sweet fruitiness underneath it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I can't get past it. I'm just going to dive in and drink it and see what we got. Cheers. See, it doesn't come off like vinegar in the taste. Sure, you're getting that tartness, you're getting the subtle acidity to it, but it's not that white vinegar. It's just a step below. There's a nutty maltiness to it. Again, like I said, never had gooseberry before, but I assume it's something that's a little bit tartar, and I think that's lending to the kettle sour of the beer itself. So you're getting that soft nutty, malty kind of kettle sour, then I think you're adding a fruit that adds a tart kind of component to it. A little bit of skinniness from a tartness from the skinniness, a little tartness from the fleshiness. I think that white vinegar is coming from like a skin tannin thing. She's nice. I think she tastes really good. That nose is really weird, just because it instantly triggered that memorable smell and memorable taste to where I had a hard time disconnecting myself from it. But when I drink it, it doesn't put me in that same place. That in of itself is pretty cool for me, because I like to be that disconnected sometimes from the nose and the taste. It's just kind of a fun trick to play in your brain. But yeah, is it overflowing your fruit? There's definitely a fruit component to it. What's the closest thing I would relate it to? Not having a gooseberry in my life. I mean, this might be kind of placebo effect here, but gooseberries are tiny. They're about this big, but they kind of look like watermelon, as you can see in the can there. This reminds me of eating, like, not the skin, but way too much of the rind of the watermelon that's clear. That's kind of what I get from this. Added with that kind of tartness that you get from that, but bumped up a bit, like you would from like a kettle sour. That's kind of what I'm getting there. So you get that soft, tart fruitiness combined with that kind of slightly nutty, malty kind of kettle sour. A nice mouthfeel to it. Very summery vibes. It's very sprightly, very bright, with a little bit of acidity to kind of add a little bit of loft and pop to it. I think it's fun. It's a fun beer. And if you like salt and vinegar chips, man, that nose is going to get you. Yeah, it's fun. I like it. I dig it. Let's talk about it. Is it one of the better Berliner Weisses I've had as of late? I'm going to say yeah. I did not expect myself to say yeah after the way that nose kind of came off. But man, the juxtaposition between those salt and vinegar chips and that really nicely done, slightly acidic kind of Berliner Weiss. It's a bit bumped up. It's a bit bigger than your typical kettle sour, and I think that kind of turns me on. And the kind of just that weirdness of the nose to the taste. I dig it. I think it's fun. Is it one of the better, maybe even on the outside looking in, but is it one of the more funner, more interesting ones? Absolutely. Bag availability, $6 a can. Man, my butthole gets tight after thinking about that, but I paid for it anyway. Distro, it's Mikkeller, whatever you want to call it. Again, both are correct. It is what it is. You're going to find it pretty much everywhere. And leave you with, if you like what we like this. If you like Berliner Weisses, but you wish they were a little bit more acidic, a little bit bigger, a little bit more robust, or conversely, you like sours, but you wanted something a little bit less. They tend to come off a little bit, sours are a very generic word, but more, you want something a little bit more reserved, a little bit more chuggable. Or if you like salt and vinegar chips, more specifically, you heard salt and vinegar chips, and you like smelling beer, because you're going to get that shit in spades with this. There you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive if you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting stuff. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a nice bag of salt and vinegar chips and or a Berliner Weiss right now. Hope to see you next time. Cheers.